1 Samuel 23. Once again, let's call this one Homeless King, but this time subtitle it Insecurities Back on the Battlefield, because David is not going to allow the insecurities of his circumstance to forget his purpose, and not just his purpose, but his skill set. As in this chapter, he is going to get word that a village, possibly pronounced Keilah, is in trouble. The Philistines are attacking them and stealing from them. And you got to wonder if David doesn't stop to think, wait a minute, God? Because even though he does not have everything that he needs, even to go home and have a decent night's sleep, he has to see that he has a skill set that can help these other folks out who are also in trouble. And he doesn't simply leave it to his own mental mathematics to figure out what's going on. He's asking God whether or not he should go use his skill set to go help people who could use it and benefit from it. And so God is going to say, yeah, but it's going to provoke probably a natural response, because his men, his new army, are going to be like, wait a minute, we're scared of the Philistines here in Judah. How much worse if we go to a place where their armies are actually doing damage already? And so he asks God again to be sure. And God says, go. Because much like with Goliath, it is not the size or the equipment that the army has. It is whether or not God wants him using his skills in that way at that time. And it seems quite clear that he does. And so David is able to calm the fears of the men enough to take them out into battle. And that is a wise choice, because they are actually able to deliver the city and rout the Philistines. But as the saying sometimes goes, no good deed goes unpunished, because Saul is going to get wind that he is now at the city of Keilah, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. And Saul, once again, undaunted by David's good deeds, is going to try to pursue him there and kill him. And now David's got another question of God. Are they going to give me up to Saul? And the bad news is, once again, there are times when no good deed goes unpunished. See, because there are times when the trouble that we have chasing us is so great that even people who we have helped will not be able to help us out. We don't know if the village is either unwilling or incapable, but we know Saul was bringing a lot of heat and killing a whole lot of folks for helping David. And so they would have been under a lot of pressure. And David does not burden them further with the baggage of having been delivered from the Philistines, now having to face destruction potentially at the hands of Saul. So he simply moves on, and understand in life there are going to be times when the people that we have helped may not be in a position to return the favor, but understand doing good for others, even when we are wanting or in a position of lack ourselves, is not a dollar for dollar return on investment. And that is why not only does Saul get word of where David is, Jonathan, his old friend, finds out too and comes to encourage David that you are going through this not because you were going to be killed, but because you were going to be king. Don't forget that. Why? Because it is important that not only David, but we not give up on the process through which God is delivering us from our days of insecurity. And that is, in many ways, what we see here in the life of David. Jonathan, once again, coming through. This time, not necessarily with a place to stay, not necessarily with the greatest of military equipment that he can use to defend himself and go fight more Philistines, but just a word of encouragement that if you don't quit on the process, God is still going to get you to where you need to be. Understanding that if you can focus on how you've grown to this point, even in your dark moments in the cave, God has restored to you an army, even if it's not with the most elite soldiers. Look at the victories he's given you with the people he's partnered you with to move in a healthy direction. And so my prayer for you is my prayer for me, to the degree that God has given us the partnership of people who are moving in a healthy direction, and we are diligently inquiring of God as to how we should properly move forward. I pray that we not give up on the process by which God is delivering us all from our days of insecurity, which is why we often say God's best to you as you go forward in him. God willing, not quitting on the process, even if it's not paying so great right now.